Hey, everybody. Welcome to Brownstone's Best Business Review. I'm Paulette, and I am a part of BrownstoneWorldwide.com, which houses KCCR Radio, the Brownstone, Brownstone's Best Business Review, My Brownstone Living, and Essentials. So happy that you guys could join us today for another episode of Brownstone's Best Business Review, where we literally sit down and talk with business owners about their journey through entrepreneurship. Today, we have a very special guest that's hanging out with us. His name is Francisco Dean, and he is the owner of, I'm going to go ahead and pull up his company logo, ProSnap Booth. You can check him out at ProSnapBooth.com. There's that lovely logo right there. Love it, love it, love it. You could tell you're going to have a lot of fun with this young man. But today, guys, what we're going to be doing is sharing with you all everything that he's gone through in order for him to get where he is. And from what I understand, he's got a long way to go to continue this journey through entrepreneurship. So today we're going to be hearing from Francisco Dean and ProSnap Booth. But before we get started, I definitely wanted to share with you guys this. Are you ready? See it again. One more time. I want to see it one more time, please. I just got to see it one more time. Welcome to ProSnap Booth, BrownstoneWorldwide.com. Cisco Dean is in the building. What's going on, sir? How are you?
Here. Thank you for having me. It's been a long time coming. I'm so glad to be Brownstone Worldwide. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be here, to be interviewed by you. I know we've been talking about this for a while.
We have.
Thank you again for the opportunity.
Absolutely. I'm honored, first of all, that you would take time out of your busy day, because according to what I'm seeing on these internet streets, you're killing the game right now. So let's talk about ProSnap Booth and what you got going on. What is ProSnap Booth?
So ProSnap Booth is a company I started almost 7 years ago. It's almost been 7 years since I started ProSnap Booth. I started it so that I can help event planners, moms, brides, anyone that's just having an event and they're looking for a way to just elevate that event to the next level. I provide photo booth rentals and photography services. I come in and I can design your whole event. You know, I can provide a curated space that your guests can come to and just have fun. Like the whole thing behind my business is I just want to make sure that you have fun. Okay, you don't have to worry about doing the setup yourself. You don't have to worry about, vendors being late or not showing up. I'm professional, 5-star quality. I do everything. And so, just a way that I can connect with people. I love, networking and connecting with people. So, my business allows me to do that. And, it's profitable. So that's a good thing.
And I'm going to give you an applause on that. He said it's profitable. You guys, that is where I start to ask the questions, because everybody wants to be profitable when they start a business. Everybody wants to see the instant. But you and I both know that it doesn't always happen instantly. So what made you come up with ProSnap Booth? What was behind that?
So, initially, I just knew that I wanted to start a business. I didn't know what type of business I wanted to start. So I think it's important that you at least know that you want to do something. You have that desire. I had a burning desire to start something for myself. So what I did was I went into research mode and I just started researching every day. I was working full time at the time that I started the business. So I was kind of using some company time, just researching and I don't recommend this, don't try this at home.
Okay.
Do not try this at home. But I was just so focused on trying to, create a legacy for myself and something that I could call my own and pass on to future generations. And I knew one thing I knew for a fact was I had an iPad that I paid some good money for,
Mm-hmm.
and I was already accustomed to using it for a lot of different purposes. And I was like, well, what's something that I can do with this iPad that can be a business? Like that was
Mm-hmm.
the foundation of how I started the photo booth. What can I do with this iPad to start a business? So I did some research and I came across a device. It's a photo booth device. It was sold by this company called Simple Booth.
Mm-hmm.
My research, I figured out that if I bought this device and I downloaded their software onto the iPad, it would essentially become a photo booth. And that was the spark. That was the spark.
Okay.
That device at the time cost $3,200.
Ouch.
So yeah, it was a dent in the pocket, but it was a risk that I was willing to take.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that if I didn't take this risk, then I may regret not taking this chance on myself. Um,
Mm.
Luckily for me, I was working in engineering. I was
Okay.
working for something that allowed me to have. I was doing okay with money. I was doing okay with.
Okay.
I didn't have to worry too much about spending the money because I had a full-time job. So if anything, I could just fall back on my job. But I know a lot of businesses start that way, where you're just working a
Right.
full-time job and you're trying to find another stream of income. You're trying to find a hustle or another stream of income. And that's what I did. So I bought that device and I was nervous. I'm not gonna lie. It was a nerve-wracking experience starting my business
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
it was surrounded by uncertainty. It was surrounded by uncertainty. I had no idea that this would actually earn me any income.
Okay.
You get what
Okay.
I'm you get what I'm
Yeah, I
saying?
do.
I was hopeful. I was hopeful. I was, like thinking that, if I put the work in and if I really put the work, that I would make money. But I didn't see what I have today. I had no idea that I would
Okay.
have everything that I have today. It was really just a bet. It was just a bet on myself to see if it was a viable business. And I did. I was nervous. I remember the day that I bought it. I closed my eyes. I literally did like this. I put the mouse over the buy button. Like I set it all up like to the purchase point where all it took was just one click. And
Mm-hmm.
I still had to say a prayer. I closed my eyes and I just slammed my finger on the button. And when I opened my eyes, it said, "You purchased a photo booth."
So let me ask you, you talked about something that a lot of the entrepreneurs really deal with, or people that are looking to get into entrepreneurship. You said you closed your eyes and you pressed the button. And so were you like, okay, this is now or never, or was there, I'm sure there was some level of fear or concern on what in the
Absolutely.
world am I doing? What was
It
going
was
through your head at that time?
absolutely you hit it on the head. It was that fear
Mm-hmm.
and the do it anyways attitude.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you're afraid, I had to take that leap. I was looking over the edge of the cliff and I said, am I going to just stand here on the cliff and just watch other people fly by? Or am I going to
Wow.
take that risk on myself? And I was still afraid. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It was scary. It was scary.
Right.
I thought that I was going to waste $3,200. That's really what I thought. I thought I was just flushing it down the toilet.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I was prepared for that because you have to, in every risk that you take, in every, you know, transaction that you do, there's a risk involved, and
Yep.
I could have lost that money. Like I could have never seen any return on that money,
Yeah.
and I could think of so many better things to do with $3,200. So the fact that I spent it on a photo booth when I had no idea, what I was doing. I think that was courageous, but I was definitely,
Very. Oh my God.
definitely
That was
afraid.
crazy. So let me ask you this now, in terms of starting the business and all of that, did you discuss this with your spouse, or uh, did your family members say, have you lost your mind? What was
That's
that
a good
like? Or were
question.
they just like, you know what? We got you.
I've always been very independent, and
Hmm.
my family has always been very supportive of me. I run very autonomously with a lot of decisions. Of course, I
Hmm.
do, you know, talk with my wife and let her know what I got going on, but she defers to me on a lot of things, and she's like, "Hey,
Hmm.
I know you're smart. I know you got this. Go for it."
I
So
love it.
I get that support, and I'm very thankful
Hmm.
and happy that the family and my support system are always behind
Hmm.
me
Hmm.
through thick and thin, everything.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. And when you first started the business, so you've purchased it, it arrives.
It
And
arrives.
what is the first thing that you do? What do you say to yourself? Do you say, okay, now how do I make this up for work? Or did you already have appointments set up? How did you market? What was all of the stuff that you went through? Because it couldn't have just been, okay, I have a photo booth, now I have a business, right? What were all
Yeah.
of the details? Because I'm sure that there were that you had to deal with.
So the first thing I did was open it up. I set it up. I put my iPad in there, and I took a picture. And I still have
Okay.
that picture to this day. Me and my wife took a picture. I just opened up the camera and I took a picture. And that was like the commencement. That was like it's here. And it was something like that I've never seen before too. That was another thing that drew me in. Like I'd never seen this before. And I was like, wow, if I can just get this in front of other people, I think they
Hmm.
will be just as amazed as I am. Because
Right.
I'd never seen no one doing it. I'm like,
Hmm.
I thought I was onto something like, you know, uh, something that was revolutionary, like,
Okay.
something that was
Yeah.
like just crazy. So I had a lot of belief. Like once I saw it, I started to believe in it, and
Hmm.
I believed
Hmm.
that if I could just get it in front of other people, they would love it too.
Right.
And the first thing I did was um, I reached out to my church, and I found out that they were having an anniversary event coming up, and I told them that I would sponsor the event. So I said, "Hey, yeah, y'all are having a anniversary coming up. I
Okay.
would love to be part of the anniversaries. It was a 2-day event. I'm gonna bring out my photo booth and do it for free for both days."
Oh, wow.
So that was me committing to do the photo booth and
Yep.
knowing that I was gonna have to figure it out. Like now I
Mm.
had to like download the software. I had to learn how to load the template. I had to learn how to get it to print. I had to like figure it all out and get it ready.
Right.
And I think I
Hmm.
may have had like, about a month like window to like figure it all
Hmm.
out.
Okay.
And um I probably didn't start right away. I remember like the first week or so, I set up the photo booth and I just set it up in my living room and
Hmm.
I just left it there. And every day that I got up and I went to work, I just looked at it and I
Okay.
walked by it. And every day that
Okay.
came home from work, I looked at it and until I got tired of looking at it, like, okay,
Mm.
photo booth not just gonna be standing here. I need to do something. I didn't put
Okay.
it back in the box. I didn't put it up. I left it up because I was like,
Hmm.
I need to see it. If I don't see it, I'm not gonna pay attention to it. I'm not gonna remember it. So I
Right.
need to see it. So I left it up, and that was what kind of got the ball rolling. I figured it all out, and I did the event, and it was a wonderful mess.
Oh no, what happened?
So the reason I say it was a wonderful mess because there was a silver lining, right?
Okay.
Of course, what else would you expect, right? I don't know
Hmm.
what I'm doing. I'm going into this blind. There's like, 75 people trying to use this booth that I don't even know how to really operate that well.
Hmm.
I asked my wife to help me, which was a blessing because I needed the help, but
Hmm.
I didn't have the right materials. The printer that I had was too slow, um, and and the experience itself was
Hmm.
fun. And I told her,
Right.
I said, hey, let me run the booth so I can get a feel for like how it feels to run the booth and get people to use it. And you just help me out with the printing and cutting the strips and everything. She had to cut them by hand, and the
Mm.
printer would take like maybe two or so, like maybe 5 minutes to print one picture. It was like
Wow.
extremely like ridiculous amount of time just to print one picture, and then she would have to. What I noticed at that event was that everyone was having so much fun that they didn't even care that the pictures weren't coming out fast enough.
Wonderful.
Right. So I was backed up with the pictures. The pictures weren't coming out right. It was a mess over there. But
Hmm.
I had a revelation over here that they actually enjoying it. They're actually having fun taking
Hmm.
pictures. Like I never seen it before. It was like, okay, I just set up this booth here and I let them take pictures and they're loving it. So what I did was after those 2 days, it was both days were just like that. It was terrible on the print side, but
Hmm.
I saw them having fun. And my engineer brain got to work. I said,
Huh.
okay, how can I fix the problems on that side? What can I do to fix those problems? So I did some more research and I found a printer. The printer was gonna cost me another $1,000,
Oh.
but right, but it solved the problems of it printed the pictures instead of 5 minutes, it took it down to 8 seconds.
Mm.
And instead of having to cut the pictures by hand, it cut them for you automatically.
Nice. Nice.
And that was
So,
the
question. You're saying a lot here, you don't even realize it, especially for people who are looking to begin a business. First of all, you you had a learning curve, and it doesn't sound like to me that you wanted to wait to learn. It was kind of like on the job training for you
hmm
to try it out, get that product out there. You
get it out.
used I will say other people's audiences, which was your church, right?
hmm
And you submitted, hey, I'm going to do this for you guys for free. And it was a great way for you to learn what you needed. And then along the way, you figured out that you needed to invest in another piece of equipment. Now, you're doing this for free. So that means somewhere along the lines, you're still working on somebody's job. Am I correct?
Yeah, I stayed working. So I don't want to fast forward too far, but I ran the business for a year and a half while I was still working.
Okay.
I
Uh-huh.
ran the bit, so I was working a full time job, and on the
Hmm.
weekend I would work my business, and I was
Okay.
doing all the work for an entire
Mm,
for 18 months. I was
wow.
working, two jobs, and that foundation saved me. I'll get
Hmm.
into that later, but the fact that I had
Okay.
worked, the fact that I had the business already running for a year and a half saved my life. Saved like I saved my life.
Really? Oh,
Oh, absolutely.
wow. Now you have me intrigued. I want to
Yeah.
find out more about how it saved your life. But listen, let me ask you this, because one of the things that we like to do with Brownstone's Best Business Review is to literally talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of being in business. Because
hmm
unfortunately, and I say this with just about every interview that we've done, I always ask this because we always see the pretty stuff, right? Like
Yeah.
we see the cute reels with everybody dressed up all super cute and buy my stuff, or we see the beautiful decks that are created for businesses, but nobody wants to talk about the work that it takes to get to those beautiful photos and what we think are yachts that everybody owns, and all of the falsehoods of running a business.
hmm
Talk to us and talk to the audience about the bumps, the bruises, the concerns, the money that you had to come up with to keep you going, the advertising. Let us hear the truth about what really happens behind the scenes that we don't see while we see all the pretty on social media.
Okay, so I mean, I can talk about struggles from all different angles. The first
Yeah.
ever, the first ever event that I actually got paid for, I only charged the client $150,
Mm.
and I worked for 2 hours. And the reason I charged her $150 was because when I was working at my job
Hmm.
and I had my finances, mapped out, I knew exactly how much money I was making down to the penny. And I had it calculated to about $150 per day, what I was
Hmm.
making for my job as an engineer. And that was work, and that was on salary. So like I could work 8 hours, I could work 10 hours. It was all
Right.
salary. So like I used to be miserable at work, and I was like, if I can charge this lady for 2 hours what I make in a day, I'm doing something. But at the same time, it's like that's very not much money
Mm-hmm.
still. I'm just
Yeah.
trading one job I'm trading one job for another job, but it opened the opportunity for me for more time freedom.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna move forward. I'm gonna fast forward just a little bit.
Okay.
I remember vividly, early on when I started my business. um, I was living in an apartment, and my apartment had underground parking, and I used to have to walk upstairs to take my photo booth equipment to my apartment. We stayed on like a higher floor,
Mm-hmm.
um, and I was lazy. I used to go to an event, do the event, and I would come home, and I would leave my photo booth equipment in my car, and I was using my personal
Oh.
vehicle. I was using my personal vehicle for all of my events. So I would load up my photo booth, my printer, my props, my backdrop, everything that I needed. I would load it up in my car. I would go do my events. I used my
Mm-hmm.
personal vehicle for years. While I was in that apartment, I remember waking up one morning on my way to work, and my window was broken out.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh.
I remember it like it was yesterday. Windows broken, back window broken out. And at first I thought I was seeing something. I'm like, why does my window look like that? And as I
Yeah.
got close, I realized what happened. So they had targeted our apartment complex because not only was my window broken, but several people had got
Mm-hmm.
broken into. So they had targeted us, and because it was a dark underground parking, they were able to get away with it. And it was my fault, for not being cautious. And I lost my photo booth. They took the photo booth, they took the printer, they took everything. Everything that was
Oh.
in there they could have put their hands on, they took it.
Mm.
So I had nothing, at zero.
So how did you deal with that? What did you do? Because you could have given up. You cried.
I called my boss
I'm
and told
sure
him
you did.
I called my boss and told him my car got broken into. I'm not coming to work.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I was devastated. I was
Mm-hmm.
devastated, and I needed to find a way to get my photo booth back. And I learned a valuable lesson in that day because I had no way to track my photo booth. Like I didn't know if it was somebody that was living in the apartment that just came down and stole my photo booth and took it to their apartment. I had no way to tell where my photo booth was. Couldn't track it.
Mm-hmm.
And I vowed that I would always, from that point on, have a way to track my photo booths. I learned a
Mm.
valuable lesson
Okay.
in that moment. So now all my photo booths are trackable. I know exactly where my photo booths are at all times.
I love it.
so
I love it. Good for you.
but I needed to replace my photo booth.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you know that because I was in an apartment, we had renter's insurance, and the renter's insurance extends to your vehicle.
Okay. Okay. And so,
I was able to make a claim,
okay, good.
and I was able to recover my business because
Wonderful.
I almost lost it all.
Oh, wow.
And this is a true story. I can't make it up.
Mm-hmm.
And I always think about the person that stole it. Like, did they even know what they stole?
They had no idea at
Had no,
all.
had no clue. Had no
None.
use. Had
No,
no
no,
use
no, no.
for it.
Mm-mm. They probably pawned it,
Just,
trashed
yeah,
it, whatever. Yeah. Yeah.
$50, $100. They don't know like what it was really
Mm-mm.
worth.
At
You know.
all.
So
At all.
I always remember that
Uh-huh.
story, and that's part of the struggle. That's part of you know bumps come along the way, but you have to be you have to have that fortitude, that mental fortitude to figure out
Mm-hmm.
what's your next move.
Right.
What's your next move? We're not going to take this as a knockout punch. We're going to get back up
Mm-hmm.
and we're going to figure it out. And I was able to
Y'all
get
heard what he said, right? I need you
Yep,
to say that again. You're gonna get back up.
we're going to get back up. Absolutely.
Yeah, somebody needs to hear that because there's someone out here that's going to be listening to this on KCCR or on BWTV, which is a part of BrownstoneWorldwide.com, and they're going to see you. They're going to hear you, and you could be just the word that they're looking for to continue to keep going. That took a lot because I'm gonna tell you something. I've had some things stolen out of my car too, and I never considered to have some type of insurance or something on equipment that I had, and so I lost a lot of things over the years. So thank you for the reminder.
Absolutely. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
I'm insured now, but back then, I
Yeah.
was just ripping and running. I was just hustling.
Yeah.
Just trying to get to the next event.
Mm-hmm.
It
Right.
was, I was like, man, I don't want to keep lugging this stuff up and down the stairs. I did it when I first started, but after a while, I was like, I'm not doing this every time. Like, I know I got an event, so I just leave it in the car. And that was very, just lazy of me, like irresponsible. So I took responsibility, but
Right.
at the same time, they stole probably close to $5,000 or maybe more.
Oh my goodness.
Worth of,
Oh my goodness.
worth of equipment. So I could have easily just been out, just been way out, just not having. So, and I had events on the calendar too. That was another thing that, I had to get my photo booth back because I had events on the calendar. So there was no way for me not to get my photo booth back, or else I would have called them and said, canceled. But that never crossed my mind. That never crossed my mind. It wasn't, how can I cancel these events? It's how can I get my photo booth back?
Right.
That was
right.
That was my. So.
Oh my goodness, I love it. I love this. This is excellent. Y'all, I need you all to hear what Francisco is saying. Cisco, this is good stuff because again, people need to understand that bumps and bruises are going to go along with being an entrepreneur. And so it sounds like to me, now correct me if I'm wrong, you literally started a business during the pandemic. Is that what I'm understanding?
No, way before the pandemic. I'm
before.
Yeah, I'm an OG. So I started in 2016, March of 2016.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I mean, there's some old heads that started before me, but probably maybe like 4 years before me, like is when like the photo booth industry kind of like was kind of starting to pick up and people were figuring it out. And I kind of saw what was happening when I started. I kind of took a part of the story is I had a teacher at my school. He was teaching for years. He left his job to start a photo booth company. And I saw that. And that was the key. That was the like the sign to me that there was money in the photo booth industry. And that's what gave me the confidence to move forward. So he had started his business probably a few like maybe 4 years before when I saw what he was starting and leaving out. So I started in 2016. There's a lot of people that did start in the pandemic, but I was doing this, 16, 17, 18, 19. I was doing photo booths all those years. I was doing photo and that's part of the reason why I'm still able to do photo booths because I built such a foundation during those years that it weathered me through the pandemic. I was able to weather the storm through the pandemic.
I love it.
It hurts because I definitely took a hit during the pandemic, but I still had events, and I don't promote. I don't run ads. All my business comes from word of mouth, from networking, and from repeat clients.
Oh.
And I
so it's like that.
Yeah, I still made money during the pandemic
That's
without even
wonderful.
advertising. Yeah.
That's wonderful. So, what words of wisdom or advice would you give to someone who is looking to start a business? And even before you answer that, so one of the things that I think I'm kind of like, it sounds like you're doing this full time. And I heard you say that you have several pieces of equipment. So, have you expanded? And
Yeah.
along the way, as you've expanded and scaled your business, you can't be in all of the places at one time. So, what do you do?
Good questions. Good questions. I kind of want to rewind just a little bit because there was something that I kind
Sure.
of alluded to in the beginning that I didn't get to expound on. But for the year and a half that I was doing the business while I was still working, um, I knew that my time was limited at that job, and they ended up firing me. They ended up firing me, and that definitely was a devastating moment because
Mm,
I wasn't 100% confident that I was going to be able to live off of my business.
got it.
But that was the kick and the push that I needed. I always say some people take the leap of faith, and I say I got pushed.
Mm,
Um, you know, I,
okay.
I I got pushed because if I hadn't got fired, I don't think I would have gone full time. I don't think I would have
Wow.
taken entrepreneurship full time. I think I would be probably still relying on that W-2 clock in, clock out,
Yeah.
guaranteed money. I would be still relying on that.
Hmm.
And I don't think I would have seen my full potential that I have um, because I would have been going back to what I'm used to. And I'm not
Yeah.
knocking anybody that has a full-time job. I don't knock
Hmm.
anybody, for their passion or whatever they do, but I'm
Hmm.
just talking about myself personally.
Right. Right.
I thought that that day was the worst day of my life, and it turned out to be the best day of my life.
Wow.
It turned out to be the best
That's
day of my life.
heavy. I'm
It
sorry.
turned
And let me tell you why. Because there are so many business owners who still are on the fence. And
on the
like you
fence.
said, you were pushed off of it. And
Ouch.
you
Out of
could
here.
have gone anywhere else, though, Cisco. You could have gone to any other job. But in your head, you were like, what were you thinking?
I said, I'm young. At the time, I think I was probably 28 or something like that,
Hmm.
27.
Hmm.
Um, and I said, if I'm gonna ever take a risk on myself, now's the time.
Yeah.
I got a degree, so I can always fall back on this degree.
Right.
But I'll never know unless I try. I'll never know
Hmm.
if this business is viable. Like if I could really do this full time, I'll never know unless I try.
Hmm. Right.
And you're exactly right. That I had a decision to make, and I knew I had a decision to make. Do I go find another job? Do I go,
Hmm.
get my resume ready and go apply to jobs, or do I take this business full time? I never applied to any job. I never put out my resume. Never did it. Never even
Hmm.
considered it. I told my
Wow.
wife and I told my parents. I sat them
Hmm.
down like I think a day after I got fired, and I told them, "Hey, I got fired from my job," and I was embarrassed. I was like, "I never get fired. Like, I'm not that type of guy. Like, I do what I'm supposed to do. I just had a really
Yeah.
rough time at that job, and I can tell the story, but it's kind of long. But
Yeah.
I just had a really
Hmm.
rough time, and they didn't see the value in keeping me around. And I told
Okay.
them, "Hey, I want to do this photo booth." And I was serious. I want to do this full time. You know, I just wanted kind of like their blessing. Like kind of like
Yeah.
I just wanted to know that they were going to support me and they were going to have my back in
Of course.
pursuing a business. Full time and having to rely on my own efforts to make money. And that was scary,
Oh
scary,
my, I bet it was. Wow.
because
So you got up one morning after you had made the decision and told your wife and your family, okay, guys, this is it. I'm going in. And did you
Mhm.
wake up that next morning and go, oh my God, what have I just done? Or did you jump into action with a plan of action? And what was
um
that?
yeah, my plan of action was to seek help. So during the years that I had been doing the business, well, the year and a half, I had met people. I had met some
Mhm.
people, and one person stood out to me that was a viable option to be a coach. So I immediately seeked out a business coach. That was one of the
Mhm.
first. That was one of the first things I did. I can't remember
Mhm.
how much she charged me or what the agreement was, but she started to help me. She started. She was like my first coach, my first kind of like business mentor, and kind of
Mhm.
started putting me in the right direction. Like I just started reaching out to people that I saw that were like in business and that were doing
Mhm.
something similar. They didn't have to be doing the photo booth. They just had to be doing something similar. And I just started reaching out to people and just saying, "Hey,
Mhm.
want to meet up for a chat so we can talk?"
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
like friends from college, like friends, like
Yeah.
people that I knew, just people that I met, just along the way, just started reaching out and just started kind of establishing myself as, hey, I'm an entrepreneur now. So what do I need to do, to
Right.
make sure that I stay busy, that I'm doing the right things, that I'm handling my money right, how do I
Mhm.
do my taxes? Like every question that I had, I just started reaching out to my network. And I got a business
Mhm.
coach, and she helped me a lot. She gave me some good advice to start out
Mhm.
with
Mhm.
that, led me to here where I am now. Like, this mastermind isn't the first time that I've had a coach. I've had coaches plenty of
Gotcha.
times, before.
Okay.
This is just a natural evolution for me. It's like, I've been with a small time. I'm moving up. I'm leveling up. So
Okay, I hear you. Okay. So listen,
um,
you mentioned mastermind and you mentioned coach. And so I wanted
yeah,
to let's touch on this for just a little bit because I think people have a misconception that they can do this by themselves, in which they absolutely can. People do it all the time. But would you
mm,
say that having a coach and being a part of a mastermind or having a coach and investing in yourself and your business was paramount to what you've been able to accomplish thus far? Was it helpful?
absolutely. There's no way, unless you just went to school for business or like you
Mhm.
just have like your parents like you know, went to school for business and they were able to show you like I went to school for engineering and my parents weren't like business owners like that. I didn't have any like rich uncle or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like
Uh,
I came from the bottom. So
mhm.
all the knowledge that I needed, I had to go seek out that knowledge.
Yeah.
And you don't know everything.
No.
You don't even know what you don't know, right? You don't even
Yeah.
know what you don't know. That's a philosophy. Like there's so much to know that you don't even know that there's things that you don't know. So it's very important that you seek out a coach because that coach can give you direction, that coach can give you advice, that
Right.
coach can give you
Mhm.
motivation. Like even during the times
Yeah.
where I was not motivated to work on my business, like knowing that I
Mhm.
had someone that was in my corner that I could call and ask for help pushed me that extra mile.
Yeah.
There's words and things that I recall, even to this day, some of the conversations that I've had with coaches that still motivate me to this day.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm. Yeah.
um, just having, investing in yourself. Any money that you spend on yourself is the best investment. You get the
Mhm.
best returns. I don't regret ever spending a dollar on coaching or
Okay.
buying equipment for my business.
I
Anything
love
that I
it.
buy for business or invest in coaching, it's always a good investment. You always
Mhm.
get that back and then some. So, just to wrap that up, like if you don't have a coach yet, you need to find one.
Right. I agree with that. I too have a coach. And I swear by them. I swear by what you're saying. And I always like to bring that up because there are a lot of businesses out there, and I'm going to keep it 100 since, this is the Brownstone. There are a lot of people out there, especially Black and Brown business owners, who think that I can do it by myself. And like you said, what you ended up doing and what you noticed that you were doing is you were trading one job for another, basically, when you saw the
Yeah,
balance of the $150 for the day as opposed to what you were able to make for those 2 hours. And you knew
mhm,
that you had to actually attenuate how much you were charging. And so I think
absolutely.
one of the reasons why I asked this question is for people to really understand that you can shave off a lot of time by growing your business with someone that's already done those steps, that can teach you some things that you don't know. And so it's just really good to hear that you made a decision early on in your business to get the additional support that you needed. And I hear this a lot. Oh, I ain't spending that much. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
You can take that free class over here and that one and try to put it together if you want to. And we know how that ends up. So
and I just felt like I had a natural instinct. Like no one had to tell me to go find a coach. I was like,
right.
I need help.
Right.
I
Exactly.
need help.
Exactly.
You done this before? Okay. Can you show me?
Right.
Like
Exactly.
it's really that simple. It's really that
Yep.
simple. Like, people overcomplicate it. And there's enough out here for all of us. Like
Absolutely.
there's enough out here for all of us. There's no need to hold back information. Just got to find the right coach for you. And once you find that coach and they start pouring into you, your life will never be the same.
I agree. I absolutely agree. Yep. So let me ask you, what pieces of advice, as we start to wrap this up, what pieces of advice would you give someone based upon your experience as an entrepreneur? What pieces of advice would you give someone that, number one, is just getting started and not sure if they should close their eyes and press send?
So I would say to that person, make sure that whatever it is that you're looking at is something that you're passionate about. Something that keeps you up at night. Okay. That's what I would define as a passion. If you're losing sleep about it, then that's your passion. If you're not losing sleep about it, then you might need to reconsider. I don't know if I'm just the only one type of person like that, but when I have something on my mind that's pressing and burning, I'm up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm up at 3 o'clock in the morning because I got something on my mind. And that's how this business was for me. This business was like that for me. It was now or never. Like I need to do this now. If I don't do this now, I'm gonna be sick. So I would say make sure that it's something that you're passionate about. And there's so many ways to go about finding your passion. I can't really tell you specifically, but if you just do some research, you can figure out how to find out what your passion is. For me, I knew I was good at technology. That's my thing. I was like smart guy, this teacher, I was him. I was him my whole life. They used to call me smart guy in high school. So so I was good with technology. I loved my iPad. Identify what you're good at, what you're really good at. Like, what is what's your superpower? What can you do better than anyone else? Right? What's one thing that your friends would say, "Oh, you're really good at this." You make it look easy while other people have to struggle. What do you make look easy? And for me, I've always known my strengths. I'm good at math. I'm good at science. I love to research. I love to read. Different things like that. Like, working with computers, I'm a whiz. I know how to do it. I've been having a computer since I was in elementary school. They put computers in the classroom, and the rest was history. Like, every classroom that I was in had a computer in it, so we had to use it. And now, I'm very comfortable with computers. My parents, on the other hand, they always call me when they have problems with the computer. They call me. Anytime they buy some furniture, they call me because they know I'm going to read the manual and I'm going to assemble it the right way. Right? So
I love it.
I know my strengths, right? I have to think about it. So when I saw this business, it aligned with my strengths. It was very easy for me to get into it because it aligned with my strengths. I'm good with technology, so I was able to do the iPad. I'm good with setting things up, so I was able to buy the equipment and set it up. Running the events. I even worked as a in a warehouse for a little bit, and that gave me some experience with knowing how to set up and run events, and I was good at that.
Love it.
So I took that experience from there and applied it to my business.
Mm-hmm.
Um, search back into your past, figure out things that you've done before that you can
Right.
monetize, turn into business. A lot of people are doing things as a hobby and doing stuff for free that they're good at, and they're just afraid
Mm-hmm.
to charge people. They're afraid to charge
Right.
people for what they do. I have
Yeah.
people in my family like that. They're really good with like crafts and like really good with like doing stuff like that, but they just
Right.
wouldn't like start it as a business. And I'm like, what you doing? You don't like money? Like what's the problem?
Right. What's the
What's the
problem? What are
problem?
we doing here? Yeah,
Yeah, like
I agree.
be good at it. So
I love
that
it.
that would be my advice. Find your passion, something that you really love, that you're good at, that you're better at than everybody else, and just take that leap of faith. Start a business, get your
Mhm.
LLC, and just take that first step. Do it, and you'll be surprised at how far you can go.
I love it. I love it. You guys, one of the last things I'm going to ask you is tell us more about ProSnapBooth.com, how we can get in touch with you, what services that you offer, and when can we see you out here in these streets with your
Oh,
booths?
absolutely. So I'm on Instagram at ProSnap Booth, and you can find me on Facebook at ProSnap Booth Atlanta.
Hmm.
My website is www.prosnapbooth.com. You can go
Okay.
there to submit an inquiry. The call to
Hmm.
action, I think, should be in the top right corner. If you're interested in doing business with me, just submit an inquiry, and we will be sure to be in touch with you within 24 hours. Someone from my team will give you a call. Um, and you can, I mean, I'm doing events all the time, so
Yeah.
y'all are definitely gonna see us. And I've done, a few celebrities, so um,
Okay.
I'm out and about. I'm always out and about. I pop up here and there,
Okay.
and people recognize me like, oh, I saw you here, I saw you there.
Yeah.
So, there's just the future is great for ProSnap Booth.
I
I'm
love it.
building my team. You asked me earlier about my photo booths. I have 5 photo booths now. Um,
Nice.
I have a digital only. So the photo booth that I started with, I still have that. I actually have
Mm-hmm.
2 of them. So the
Mm-hmm.
one that I replaced, and I bought another one. I have 2 of
Mm-hmm.
those. They're digital only experiences. Those are like for like baby showers or like smaller events where you don't
Yeah.
really need that print option, but you still want
Mm-hmm.
to have that experience. I can come and drop this photo booth off. Your guests will have a great time. They run it by themselves, but it's so
Mm-hmm.
easy that you don't have any problem, and it's very affordable. Then
I love
the level up from there is my print booth. The print booth offers on-site printing, so they can text and email it, but they also get a physical copy right there on the spot. This one is very great for weddings or like
it. Mm-hmm.
milestone birthday parties. When you want your guests to leave with something or have a great fond memory of your event,
Mm-hmm.
use the print booth. The print booth is actually my most popular package, and I was doing
I'm
that since
sure.
way before the pandemic. I was printing out pictures on site.
Mhm.
When I told you I got that 8-second printer, that's what I'm talking
Mhm.
about. So,
I love it.
and then the thing that's most popular now that just kind of gained popularity is the 360 booth. That package right there is a digital only option as well, but it's more so for the younger crowd. The young people really
Right.
love the 360 experience because they can post it to their social media, whether it's on TikTok or
Mhm.
Instagram. They get it and they
Mhm.
can post that right away. So it's a 360 video rotating
Mhm.
around. It captures all your angles, and you get to get on there with you and a friend. Maybe even up to 3 people can get on there at a time, and it plays
Yeah.
with the audio track as well. So I mean, it's a very fun experience, and you can even double up if you want to. If you want the 360 and the print booth at the same time, we can do that for you too.
Nice.
Yeah, we got
Okay.
options. We got options. We do corporate events, we do conferences,
Okay.
birthday parties, weddings, anniversaries, you name it. ProSnap Booth has done it.
I love it. You know what, Cisco, this has been amazing. I want to thank you first of all for coming out and spending some time with us. I'm going to go ahead and put your banner back up there so everybody can see. Is that the right website? Yes, it's the right one. You're going to look for the logo that says Pro Snap Booth. So again, you guys check out Francisco Dean, his company is called ProSnap Booth, and you can check him out at ProSnapBooth.com. I just want to let you know how much of an inspiration you are to so many people, and you really don't know that you are. That's why you got that nickname, Six Figure Cisco. Because believe it or not, people are watching your growth, and I know that we all are rooting for you and praying that your business continue to expand and to grow. And I just want to let you know that you are appreciated for taking time out of your busy schedule to come and hang out with us here at the Brownstone and give us the best from you, the best stories, the best advice and insight that our listeners and viewers will be able to take away and make some decisions on their future. Are there any last words that you would like to give to our audience before we wrap?
Go after your dreams. Follow your dreams. There's nothing too big for you to accomplish. If you can dream it, you can achieve it.
There you go. I love it. You guys, you will be able to see this particular broadcast on BWTV, on brownstoneworldwide.com, and also brownstoneworldwide.com, the main page. You'll also be able to listen to this on KCCR Radio by Wednesday at 7 p.m. You guys will be able to check it out. Cisco, once again, we want to thank you guys. Thank you all for hanging out with us. And we'll see you around these internet streets. And thank you once again. ProSnapBooth.com is in the building.
And I want to thank you too, Paulette and Brownstone Worldwide. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to your audience. This is a pleasure. Yeah. This was a big pleasure. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I love it. And we'll see you at the top. All right, sir. You guys enjoy the rest of your evening. Once again, head on over to brownstoneworldwide.com, KCCR Radio, the Brownstone. Download the app and listen in to more from Brownstone's Best Business Review. Have a great night.
See ya.